Okay, hi there, welcome back to the Architectures Bootcamp, the UI UX design track. And in this video I'll be introducing you to Figma, its interfaces and shortcuts, and we'll be creating some screens. Figma is a collaborative interface design tool that has taken the design world by storm. Figma is entirely browser based and therefore works not only on Macs but also on PCs running Windows or Linux, and even on Chromebooks. It also offers a web API and it's free. Another big advantage of Figma is that it allows real-time collaboration on the same file. When using conventional offline apps like Sketch and Photoshop, if designers want to share their work, they typically have to export to an image file, then send it via email or instant message. In Figma, instead of exporting static images, we can simply share a link to the Figma files for clients and colleagues to open in their browser. This in itself saves significant time and inconvenience in a designer's workflow. But more importantly, it means that clients and colleagues can interact more richly with the work and review the latest version of the file. What we'll be learning on this video is we'll be fine. I'll be showing you your way. I'll be showing you the way around Figma interface. Then we'll be experimenting some key functions, and we'll learn about important keyboard shortcuts and figure out how to control the interface in the sense of zooming in and out. Then we'll create frames, rectangles, and text layers. Then we'll use the arrange and align commands. During your registration for the Architectures Bootcamp, you were asked to create your Figma account, and I don't know if you downloaded the Figma app. If you have not, please try and download it, or you can work with it on your Chrome. And you still be able to use most of the functions as using the desktop app. Now, once you open the app, you have this view where you have the recent, your drafts, and your themes, which is this part. Yes. Then this should carry your name and the menu for community. We'll be looking at communities later on in the course of the bootcamp. Then this is where you have your actions, where you can create a new design file, you can create a new FigJam file, or you can import files from other designers or from the website. This bottom part will contain your previously worked upon files or your drafts, as the case may be. For new users, you won't find anything there. Then okay, so what you do now is to click create a new design file. Then something like this should come up. Alright, let me introduce you to most of this part. The first part I will introduce you to is the menu, which is this part. Figma's menu can be found by clicking the Figma icon in the top left of the screen. Please take a minute to browse around these menus and see what is there. You can also search for specific commands you will need using this quick action button. Let's try it. So now I've clicked on it, then I want to try out maybe rectangle. Yes. So once I click the rectangle, it takes me to the rectangle tool. So you can actually search for actions that you don't know where they are nested or something. Then the next section I'll introduce you guys to is the tool section. This is the tool section. Here you can quickly access the tools you are likely to use most often. For example, your move tool, your scale tool, your frame tool, your shape tool, your pen tool, text tool, and tool, and maybe the comment tool. We'll cover all of these tools in the next couple of videos. Alright, now let me take you to the option section, which is this part. This area shows extra options for whichever tools you have selected. When no object is selected, as the case is right now, the Figma displays the title or the file name. Right now, let's change this to HTC Figma. So what I just did was I clicked on Untitled, then I renamed. And sometimes when you select an object, contextual options would appear there. Now this section, as you can see, which is empty right now, is the layer section. This is where every element in the file is listed, organized into frames and groups, and your assets. When we start creating components, you understand what this tab means. Alright, then the next part is the inspectors panel, which is this part where we have, it is separated into three: the design, prototype, and inspect. We'll cover this in subsequent videos. In the inspector panel shows contextual information and settings for whatever object is selected. Now that you have found your way around the interface, basically that's it. Okay, then there's the zoom part, which is on the top right. Yes, but now that we have found your way around it, you just will be okay. Please note, we'll be referring to keyboard shortcuts a lot in these videos, and it's worth getting in the habit of using these shortcuts right from the start, because they will significantly speed up your workflow further down the line. Now let's create a frame. You can come to the top left in the toolbar and click on the frame, and on the inspector panel you will see a list of predefined frames for phones, for your tablet, for desktop, for presentations. It depends on whatever you are designing for. And also, if you want to create your own dimensions, you can just drag out, then adjust the width and the height to whatever pixels. All of these are in pixels. You can change what measuring tools measuring parameters can be used. Also, the keyboard shortcut for it is the F button on your keyboard. Then we create a desktop frame. Now you have created one. I want to create a couple, because the next action I want to teach will require me using more than one desktop frame. Let me make it 3. So now that you can see it on the left that we have desktop 1, desktop 2, and desktop 3. You can select the frames by clicking on their names on the layer panel, or clicking on their names right above their head. But you will notice something. If I zoom out, if I zoom out, you can still see their names, and you can just click on any one of them. Now I want to teach you how to zoom. You can zoom using your trackpad by pinching or pulling out with your 2 fingers, right? The conventional zooming. Then there are shortcuts to it. If you want to, if we have a lot of screens and we just want to zoom in on one, like we have a lot of screens, maybe like 50 screens, I want to zoom in on a particular screen, you can come to the layer panel, click on it, then press Shift N. Can you see it took me to desktop 1? If I want to go to desktop 3, I just click on desktop 3 and press Shift 2. Can you see that it took me down to desktop 3? Let's zoom out again. To zoom out to see all your screens all at once is you press Shift 1. So it has zoomed out. Let's try it again. I want to zoom into desktop 3. I click on desktop 3, then press Shift 2. Can you see that it is desktop 3? It's on desktop 3. Let me zoom out again. Now there's another one. There's an extra handy zoom tip to move between frames without having to zoom in and out the whole time. When you click on the maybe desktop 1, let's Shift 2 to zoom in. You can press N to move to desktop 2. Can you see? Then you press N again to move to desktop 3. You can press Shift N to move to the previous frame. Shift N again to move to the previous frame. Now we have moved in between desktop 1, 2 and 3. Another useful tool, particularly when you are zoomed in close or working on a large file, is the hand tool. You can click on the hand tool, then use the hand tool to drag. Use your hand tool to drag around the canvas, right? Or you can press your let's move back to the move tool. You can press your space bar, or if you hold down your space bar, you see the icon changes, then you can click and drag. Can you see? Click and drag. Let's now zoom out. I want to delete this too. Yeah. To delete this too. Now Shift 1. I've zoomed in. Now I want to create a text. Let's create some text. You can press the T button on your keyboard, or you can select this on the toolbar. So once you press your T, just on your artboard, just click anywhere. Can you see a blinking line here? You can press the escape key to leave the text tool. So let's click on text and write Dewole. You can write whatever you want. Now I want to show you something. The inspector panel has been populated under the design. Yes, so this is the text area where you can make edits on your text and all of that. Then you can come here to access extra options where we have alignment, decoration, whether you want it underlined or you want it striked through, paragraph spacing, paragraph indent, list style, letter case, whether you want all of it to be in capital letter, lowercase, title case, small caps, first small caps, and all of that. Then the ligature and different style sets. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to make it bigger. Just increase the size here. This is the text size in points, pt. So we have 72, like that. So you can play around this. These are the different fonts where we have the thin, extra light, regular, medium, bold. Some typefaces don't have this type of fonts, where it might just be regular, and it depends on whatever you're doing. So now we have successfully created text. There's another way to create text. Once you have your T, before we just clicked on anywhere on the artboard or the frame and it brought out a blinking line. So you can create a text box. Rather than clicking, you can click and drag. It will create a text box. I want to reduce the font size so that you see something. If you notice, the text didn't go beyond this frame or this text box. So that is the difference between this. If I had written, okay, let me edit this one. Purely is a designer and a. Can you see that it has exceeded? It doesn't have a frame where or an edge where it stops. If you understand what I mean. So let's make this bold because of visual hierarchy, and let me reduce this. Oh no, it's so small. You can now adjust it. Just click on it, then drag this. You see that it has adjusted it. Alright, now we'll move to creating rectangles. You can create rectangle by clicking the R button. It has moved it to the rectangle tool. And let's just create a rectangle. Okay. Now if you notice, the other time we had a text option or text panel where we could edit text. Now it's a rectangle. What we just have is the fill where we can change colors and all of that. We'll be talking about colors later on in the next video, right? And yes, then okay, now if you notice, the rectangle is above all of this in the this layer panel is arranged like stacks where you have one above the other. So right now Dewali is underneath all of this. He is a designer, is above it, then rectangle is above all of it. Now we can now arrange all of this depending on whatever we want to do. Right now, can you see that the rectangle is covering Dewali and this because it is on all of it. So the shortcut, you can actually just drag this underneath. Can you see that it went under? Or you can use a shortcut which is Control and your left and right square bracket. I don't know if you understand what square bracket is. This is a square bracket. This is a square bracket. So the left square bracket sends stuff backwards, like it sends it below, while the right square bracket sends it above. So right now, if I want the wallet to come to the top, I just press Control right square bracket. Can you see that it has moved on the layer panel, on this panel? Then press it one more time again and it has moved. So that's basically arrangement on the layer. Alright, so then I want to show you what the align tool is for. Right now, can you see they are all scattered, but I want it left aligned. So I just select, I just click and drag over the three of them, then come to this align part, then click on left align. It aligns to the one at the edge of the direction you want it to align to. As you can see, Dewale is at the edge of the left. So what you are telling Figma to do is align this based on Dewale. Then you just click on it like this, yes, and you can now adjust it. Yeah, and that's all. You're good to go. Okay, on your rectangles, let's go back to the rectangles. So this is, let me explain what this is. On any element you have in a frame or an artboard, this x and y is the position. X and y is the position on, I think most of us did math. X axis, y axis. X is the horizontal axis while y is the vertical axis. So it's basically like that here. So then w is the width while h is the height. This means, this constraint proportion means whatever you are changing, if you click it, if you activate it, it means you want to scale proportionally. Like if I increase the h now, it's also increasing the width. But if I don't click it and I just want to increase the height, you see that I just increased the height. Nothing is wrong with the weight. So that is that for that. I think my time is quite gone. Okay, then this is rotation and this is your corner radius. Corner radius is how round you want the edges of your rectangle to be. Can you see how round it is now as I've increased it? So that brings us to the end of today's video. We have found our way around the interface, tried out a few basic tools and created different things. We'll see again tomorrow. I will show you guys a lot of other things, and in the description of this video I will send keyboard shortcuts for Windows and Mac. I'll send the link. I'll put a link that will take you directly to those places. Alright, thank you and bye from now.